I'm delighted that the contact tracing team is receiving a major boost from our development partners. It is my pleasure to preside the handover ceremony and distribution of rapid response vehicles to various counties.
Health CS Mutahi Kagwe launched emergency response vehicles worth 200 million Kenyan shillings. Welcome, and let's kick off the bulletin with the coronavirus update, where Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe, Cabinet of Health Secretary Mutahi Kagwe, today reported during the daily briefing of coronavirus 189 new cases of COVID-19, raising the total number of confirmed infections in the country to 10,294. The new patients were found following the testing of 1,205 samples, which brought the total number of samples tested in the country to 216,242. The CS said 65 people have been discharged within the last 24 hours, increasing the number of recoveries to 2,946. Unfortunately, 12 more people succumbed to COVID-19, the highest number of fatalities recorded in Kenya, raising the death toll to 197.
We had a challenge with our server because of power outages, but nonetheless, we still managed to test some 1,205 samples, out of which 189 people have tested positive in the last 24 hours. Thus, we have now 10,294 people who have now tested positive in the country. This pushes our cumulative figures to 216,242. 106 of those are male, when 83 are female, or the youngest is 5 and the oldest is 71. Nairobi continues to have the higher figures, recording 147, Kiambu at 20, Machakos 11, Kajiado 5, Mombasa 2. I'm glad to inform you that 65 patients have been discharged from our various hospitals, bringing the total to close to 3,000 at 2,946, the number of recoveries in the country so far. However, today, I'm also saddened to inform you that we have lost one of the higher numbers at 12. 12 patients have died as a result of COVID-19. 3 of the cases actually died at home, and the rest of them are in the various hospitals.
While many Kenyans show interest to be tested and know their COVID-19 status, the Ministry of Health has revealed the procedure that would be followed using to test the Kenyans. Health CS Mutahi Kagwe has said that the Ministry of Health conducts mass testing free of charge for a reason, pointing out the exercise is very expensive, and those who need to know their status by to visit private laboratories where they are. He urged private hospitals to subsidize the cost of COVID-19 testing.
About the charges, when you are picked from the county, we are still charging 1,000, but we had put a program for hoteliers. That's what we were charging, the charges we said.
I think the correct position is this. When we pick people, particularly when we are doing targeted testing, we don't charge anything. All right. When we are doing surveillances and when we are doing those kind of situations, when we go around doing mass testing and mass testing identified as targeted mass testing, we do not charge anything. However, as Daktari is correctly saying, we are not doing testing for everybody. You know, we don't just go to the streets and start testing around. We test because there is some reason why that area, should be focused and tested. We don't just for the sake of testing as a government. There are private labs that are testing, and we have urged them that 5,000 shillings is way too much money, to test, to charge people on testing. So the truth of the matter is that we are not charging ourselves. 1,000 shillings is when people go to those government hospitals and present themselves, not because they have been identified as sick, but because for whatever reason they feel that they should be tested. But the government hospitals, we are not charging anything like 5,000 shillings. That is not us.
Health CS Mutahi Kagwe today launched emergency response vehicles worth 200 million Kenyan shillings that will be used in the fight against COVID-19, where 7 of the vehicles will be given to Nairobi County. During the exercise, Health CS Mutahi Kagwe reminded county governments to put in place measures to curb spread of COVID-19. Wanjiku Mbogo has more to this story.
Earlier today at Afya House, Minister for Health Mutahi Kagwe flags off vehicles to be used for contact tracing. He said that all counties must have a contact tracing team with rapid response vehicles which will be handed over to 13 counties.
One of the biggest challenges is logistics support, including transport for the county and some county teams. Ladies and gentlemen, today, as we continue the fight, I'm delighted that the contact tracing team is receiving a major boost from our development partners. It is my pleasure to preside the handover ceremony and distribution of rapid response vehicles to various counties. These vehicles have been procured by the COVID-19 Health Emergency Response Project in my ministry at a cost of some 200 million shillings.
He added that they are receiving a major boost with rapid response vehicles to various counties and that these vehicles have been procured by the COVID-19 Health Emergency Team at a cost of 200 million. Minister Mutahi Kagwe said that there is a team being trained on the usage of digitalized web-based tools which will be used for tracing.
National Response and Contact Tracing Team is currently conducting training for those teams on the usage of the web-based tool and data management.
He said that these vehicles will be helpful and will be used by the team that will help fight COVID-19 pandemic.
These vehicles, to be handed over to 13 counties, will boost capacity in contact tracing and surveillance as we work to curtail the spread of the virus in the country. The counties identified to benefit from this support include Nairobi, which will get some 2 vehicles, one for Kenyatta National Hospital and the other for the newly formed Nairobi Metropolitan Services.
Minister for Health Mutahi Kagwe have today launched the vehicle response team, which will be distributed to all counties in fight against COVID-19. Reporting from Mwangaza Prime News at 9, from Afya House, Nairobi County, I am Wanjiku Mbogo.
Apology concerning the number of vehicles to be given to Nairobi County, it is 2, not 7. And moving forward, leaders of the clergy of the Pentecostal churches of Mombasa have come out to strongly oppose the motion that is in Parliament on teenage abortion, saying they will not agree to that since children are God-given. Speaking with members of the press, the leaders have asked to be given a chance to put in place necessary measures to curb the spread of COVID-19. They also requested the Interfaith Committee to get back on the table and revise some of the guidelines they came up with, as most of them are contradicting with their faith.
Kama kanisa tunakataa mswada ambaye uko mbele yetu, ambaye umeletwa bungeni na seneti kuhusu uviaji mimba mapema. Kama kanisa tunakataa mswada ambaye uko mbele yetu, ambaye umeletwa bungeni na seneti kuhusu uviaji mimba mapema. Hoja hiyo tunaipinga, hatukubaliani nayo. Kulingana na neno la Mungu, Mungu ndiye uweza kupeana watoto, sio mwanadamu. Na Mungu hawezi kushindwa na kulea watoto. Kwa hivyo kusema ya kwamba tuweke mimba za mapema ziondolewe, watu wafanye mambo isiyo, Kwa kanisa la Katoliki, kanisa la Pentekoste sisi tumekataa. Kwa hivyo kanisa la Pentekoste hatujakataa ya kwamba hatutaki kuabudu. Tunataka kuabudu sana. Na hiyo ndio tuliitiwa na Mungu. Kazi yetu ni kuabudu na kufanya ibada zote ambazo zinahitajika. Kwa hivyo tunaomba kamati iliyoketi chini kuzungumzia mambo haya ikaweze kuangalia tena, maana mengine hayakubaliani na imani yetu.
Railway transport along the SGR have resumed 3 months after they were put on hold following a coronavirus pandemic. The operation kicked off with the first train departing at 8 a.m. this morning, with the other one coming from Mombasa to Nairobi departing at 1:25 p.m. These trains will be operating under strict regulations on curbing coronavirus, and boarding capacity will be reduced to 50%, while there should be a special isolation area set aside for patients showing symptoms of COVID-19. Moving forward is that since the first time COVID-19 was reported in Kenya, lots of people have continued to suffer its adverse effects. But the ones who have had it rough are the 2017-2018 post-election violence victims, who hardly find anything to put in their mouth and are living in poor living conditions. Mwangaza TV and FM, in conjunction with Jesus Wina Ministry, have extended a hand to giving the IDPs in Kiambu County, as Maureen Wanjiru reports.
It is after Kenya presidential election in 2007, where dispute intensified in the country with conflicting claims over election results, where violence broke out. Thousands of people lost their lives and some were displaced as the result of the fighting. They were living a better life before the incidents, but due to this, things are different. This has made Mwangaza TV, Mwangaza Waneno FM, in conjunction with Jesus Wina Ministry, to set a journey to visit refugees at Roiro in Kiambu County, so as to extend a hand of blessings to them. What welcomes us is sadness and sorrow, even though the residents welcomes us with a lot of joy in them. We started with a word of prayer where Pastor Justus Mureithi prayed and Reverend Elvis Madhenge read the word and preached.
Siku ya leo Bwana umetupatia nafasi ya kutembea katika hiki jiji. Tunaomba ya kwamba Baba utakase mahali hapa kwa damu ya Yesu Kristo, takasa watu hawa Jehova Shama, takasa shosho hawa wote kwa jina la Yesu.
Mlinzi wako hasinzii. Kweli mlinzi wa Israeli hasinzii wala halali. Mwenyezi Mungu ni mlinzi wako, yuko upande wako wa kulia kukukinga. Mchana jua haitakuumiza. Na kweli Mungu anawapenda kwa sababu si unaona leo Mungu ametutuma. Kwa hivyo inamaanisha kuna mtu huwa anaomba na maombi yenu Mungu alisikia. Kwa hivyo ni vizuri kukaa ndani ya Mungu. Hata kama shida ziko, hata kama kuna magonjwa, usiangalie ati unaishi hapa ufikirie Mungu amekusahau. Usiangalie unaishi hapa uone kana kwamba Mungu hakupendi.
After that, we gave them food, where they received this with a lot of happiness. 70 years old Jane Wamboi is only 13 years old at this refugee camp. Due to corona COVID-19 pandemic, hunger is the major problem and the food is too little. They don't have a job that they can do in order to cater for their needs. Paris Wanjiro says that getting casual jobs it is difficult due to corona COVID-19 pandemic. In this camp, they live 11 families and with no jobs, they cannot be able to put food on the table.
Sasa venye kuna corona imekuja, hatupati vibarua juu sisi ni watu wa kuitua vibarua, tunafua na hatupati hizo vibarua. But sasa watu wengine huwa wanatuletea chakula, wanatuletea msaada, ndio tunapata ya kukula. Lakini mahali hapa tunaishi, huwa tukilala, saa zile kunanyesha tunapatanga shida juu. Huwa mvua inanyeshewa mpaka saa zingine manguo zinanyeshewa. Mvua ikinyamaza ndio tunaanika hizo manguo.
No regular health care and they have children but they don't have money to cater for their medication. Since they have lived in this place for the past 13 years, they have not received any theft cases.
Sasa kama saa hii kuna corona hatupati vibarua. Hizo sasa hiyo msaada tunaletewa kama hii mmetuletea ndio tunakulanga na tunapatia watoto wetu. Tuko family 11 kila mtu na watoto wake. Na Mungu ametulinda. Siwezi sema Mungu hajetulinda, ametulinda kwa sababu mahali tunaishi hatuna mlango, tumeishi kwa makaratasi. Hiyo miaka 12 tumeishi hapa, hatujapata ubaya yote na tunaishi.
Isaac Maina, who is 15 years old and still a student of class 7, says that school fees is a major problem. He is urging Good Samaritan to help them pay for school fees and also buy them school uniforms.
Niko class 7, atupatangi, tunakaanga hivyo, tunaenda shule, tunafukuzwa, tunakaa wiki moja, tunaenda tunaongeleshea mwalimu, anaturudisha. Sisi tungependa tusaidiwe na uniform na tulipeangwa shule.
There is no regular food supply and because of this, they express their joy because of Mwangaza TV, Mwangaza Maneno FM in conjunction with Jesus Winner Ministry for extending a hand of blessing to them, and the hand that gives is the one that receives.
Tunashukuru tu Mwangaza na Bishop Mwai kwa vile ametufanyia, ametuletea chakula.
Ninarudishia kanisa la Jesus Winner shukurani, na Mwangaza pia nawarudishia shukurani tukisema ni asanti. Mungu ambariki na mzidi kumuongezea.
Reverend Elvis Mathenge from Jesus Winner Ministry had this to say.
Tunashukuru Mungu sana kwa sababu tumewapata mkiwa salama tena. Mungu awabariki na Mungu atende mambo mazuri, na tumesema ya kwamba Jesus Winner Ministry pamoja na Mwangaza TV tumefurahia sana kushirikishwa na Mungu pamoja na nyinyi.
They are homeless and they have stayed here for 13 good years without knowing where to go. The question is, who is hearing their cry? Reporting from Mwangaza Prime News at Ruiru in Kiambu County, my name is Maureen Wanjiro.
Thank you, Maureen Wanjiro. In that report by Maureen, we'll see us to a short break, but I'll be back right after the break with more and detailed news.
Unatazama Mwangaza TV, tumaini lako.
Kimuma Engineering au Prosec Technical Systems ni wataalamu wenye ujuzi wa hali ya juu kwa bidhaa kama vile CCTV cameras, razor wires, solar panels, inverters, batteries pamoja na utaalamu wa kukwekea electric fences, milango yenye teknolojia ya kisasa pamoja na kengele za kisasa za nyumba. Kimuma Engineering Systems pia ni wataalamu hali ya juu kwa bidhaa zote za kuzima moto pamoja na bidhaa nyingine nyingi zenye teknolojia na utaalamu wa hali ya juu wa kisasa. Kwa habari zaidi kuhusu bidhaa hizi, watembelee katika jumba la Nyandarua, barabara kuu ya Kamae, jiji kuu la Nairobi. Unaweza pia watembelea katika tawi lao la Kasarani lilioko katika jumba la Eden Plaza kabala na kituo cha polisi cha Kasarani, na tawi lingine lilioko barabara ya Gaberone karibu na Sagret Hotel. Watembelee siku ya leo ili ukaweza kupata bidhaa hizi kwa bei iliyo nafuu na zenye ubora wa hali ya juu. Wapigie simu kupitia 0712828896 au 0721250846. Kimumu Engineering Systems, security at its best.
Kwa majina naitwa Ken Gwantai, an innovator, na wazo langu kwa the fellow innovators out there ni kwamba we keep social distance, tuoshe mikono na tusingatie maagizo ya serikali yote kwa wakati huu mgumu. Naelewa wengi tunapitia magumu, lakini msimu huu wa COVID-19 utaisha na itabindi sote tusirikiane ili tuweze kuangamiza hii janga la corona.
Unatazama Mwangaza TV, tumaini lako.
Welcome back, and let's move forward, where Ministry of Labour Social Services CS Simon Chelugui has said that the government of Kenya has started registering all retired citizens with over 70 years, orphans and physically challenged for the less fortunate budget in efforts to make sure that all Kenyans are treated equally. CS Chelugui said the money will assist in supporting education for orphans as well as buying working aids for the physically challenged.
We are now going to begin a new program which will register all the non-pensioners, 70 years and above, working together with Interior, Ngao, team ya County Commissioner. We want to register those people. As soon as our budget is approved, we will register all senior citizens of this country, wale hawana pension. Pia watoto ambao hawana wasasi. Na pia wale walemavu. Hawa wote tunawashikilia. Through social protection, we would provide support in education, in facilitation, especially those who are not able to, giving them aids and walking tools to support them.
Tunasema asante sana kwa hii mapesa hii. Nipea sisi na sisi tuko hakuna wakati sisi tuko kuna kitu kingine.
Na kwa kuleta hii pesa, ingawa tunasema wanadamu nasema heri ingawa nyingi, lakini bado inapata kitu kidogo badala ya bure. Ametusaidia sana kwa sababu hatujapata katika serikali ya mbele kitu kama hii. Tunashukuru serikali hii ambayo inaonekana inakumbuka wananchi wake, na hii pesa imesaidia wamama wasiokuwa na kitu, wamesaidia wazee wasio na kitu. Hata hapa Pokot ni chakula yetu ilikuwa ni ng'ombe, lakini ng'ombe akisha mzee geseka vijana wanapeleka mbali. Sasa mzee anapaki nyuma pamoja na mkewe, na kwa hivyo hii pesa imetusaidia.
And elsewhere, more than 500 pastors from Nakuru County have received food donations from the Nakuru Community Support Basket to cushion them from the effects of COVID-19. These pastors, under the umbrella of Nakuru Pastors Association, explained the hardships they have been going through since the virus came knocking. Led by Association Chairman Pastor Alex Minor, they have said the donation will go a long way in helping them cope with the adverse effects of COVID-19.
Jina langu ni Alex Minor. I'm the chairman of Nakuru Pastors Fellowship. Lakini leo tumeita wachungaji from across Nakuru County. We have about 500 pastors ambao tulipatiwa chakula na mheshimiwa wetu Governor Lee Kinyanjui ya kuweza kusaidia clergy ambao maybe kwa sababu ya hii janga la COVID-19 waweza kuwa wana changamoto fulani za chakula katika nyumba zao. So we have them here today and we are very thankful to our county government and our governor kwa sababu ya this wonderful gesture ametuonyesha kama church, and we really appreciate God for what he has done.
Ninafurahia siku ya leo kwa sababu ya kukumbukwa na our governor Lee Kinyanjui, na pia hata kwa sababu ya wachungaji wetu. That connection ndio imetuma tupokee chakula. COVID haikuchagua, haikujua mchungaji, haikujua kijana wa kawaida, hata haijui hata governors, kwa sababu huo ni ugonjwa ambao umeingia katika taifa.
Definitely kuna pastors ambao wako vulnerable, sio wote wako vulnerable, kwa sababu kuna wengine makanisa yao hata yalikuwa katika maeneo ambayo yalikuwa na mahitaji hata kabla ya COVID-19. So kuna pastors ambao wanaweza kuwa na mahitaji, na that is what we have targeted today. Wengine wamekuja kwa sababu ya as a pastor kuna need, ama kuna watu ambao very close to them, maybe an associate pastor or an elder ambaye kuna need.
Leo ninashukuru sana kwa sababu ya His Excellency the Governor wa Nakuru, kwa sababu pia kushikilia wachungaji wetu. Ameona umuhimu sana wa kuwa wachungaji wetu wapate at least chakula kidogo, na kwa hivyo tunashukuru. Tumepokea mafuta, tumepokea unga, tumepokea masabuni, tumepokea vitu ambavyo jameni zinaweza kututia moyo. Nilikuwa nimeadhirika kabisa. Mnajua kwamba sisi kama wachungaji mara nyingine tunategemea washirika, na kwa hivyo tulikuwa tumekuwa chini sana, lakini Mungu wetu ametukumbuka.
And still remaining in the Nakuru County is that the county government of Nakuru has put in place measures of using artists to educate the public about coronavirus and how to protect themselves from the same. Minister of Youth and Gender in Nakuru County, Lucy Kariuki, said paintings that can educate the masses will be of great help and will, on the other hand, create a source of income to the youths of Nakuru.
We have engaged our artists. When we sat down and we thought about the different categories of artists and youth within our ministry, we thought that we can engage them to bring out messages of corona, ways of preventing corona, ways of conquering this corona. And in that we were looking at one, engaging them, second, creating jobs for them, and also training everyone, or bringing it out, the message that everyone can use their talents to do something towards this pandemic. So we have engaged different artists. Ideally, we are taking upcoming artists and seasoned artists. Like in this site, we have taken 4 upcoming artists and 1 seasoned artist who is their supervisor to guide them and to mentor them.
We are also giving them a platform to showcase what they are able to do, and that way also creating a market for them. Yes, we've started with Nakuru East. Our intents are to move to Nakuru West, specifically Nakuru within Kaptembwa area. Then we shall be going to Naivasha. We are targeting Lakeview Estate. Within these sites, we are using our visual artists from those sub-counties. We shall not move artists from east to west or from Naivasha to Rongai. We shall be using the artists within these sub-counties.
Programs that we have that are engaging youths. We have what took off some 2 months ago, the Mutahan live show. The Mutahan live show, we've been to Nakuru East and West, and also Gilgil and Naivasha.
We really wanted to bring back to the society, and we partnered with the county government. We to start creating this initiative. A lot has been said about wearing masks, sanitizing, washing your hands and everything. But now here we want to spread a message of hope. We want to give people hope that there is life after Corona. Even if you look behind me, the message we're giving here is that we shall overcome.
A cloud of sadness has fallen over Kaumoni village, Machakos County, after bodies of 2 lovebirds were found hanging with ropes in their house. According to those who witnessed the incidents, the 2 have been living together in Kayole Estate in Nairobi, and they had arrived in the village on Friday after cessation of movement was lifted by President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Kwa majina naitwa Pius Wambua. Mwendo wa saa 8:30 tumepata habari kwamba kuna kisa kimetendeka, na tumekuja kuangalia. Ni kweli tumepata, ni kweli imetendeka. Vijana wawili ambao ni wachanga waliweza kujitoa uhai. Kisa na maana hakuna mtu anajua, maana ni kama kwamba walikuwa wawili kwa nyumba. Tunaomba kama watoto wako na shida waweze kueleza wazazi, kama wazazi wako karibu waweze kueleza wazee ambao wanaweza kuzurisha hii kifo. Ni kitu ya huzuni, na tunaomba amani iweze kuwa katika hii area.
Leo tumepata kisa ambacho kimestaabisha watu hapa, ya watoto wawili, wanarika wawili, kijana ambaye ni wa miaka 28 na msichana wa miaka 19, ambao wamepatwa kwa nyumba ya kijana wakiwa wamejitoa uhai. Kisa ambacho kimetusangasha sana, kwa sababu hatujui kiini cha kifo ama kujitoa uhai.
Tumepata habari kama kwamba kuna vijana wawili wamejinyonga kwa nyumba, na mimi nawajua. Hii kijiji ni yangu na mimi nawajua, na sijui kwa nini wamejitoa uhai. Na hakuna kujua sababu. Waliingia tu kutoka Nairobi on Friday, na sasa ni siku ya 3. Kwa hivyo ile kitu mimi naweza sema ni moja, wanalika. Mtu akiwa na matatizo asijitoe uhai, sababu inawekwa kila wakati kujitoa. Naomba kama kuna shida yote ya kinyumbani, kifamilia, waseme ndio wasuluhishwe.
And last but not least, the Kenya Forest Service has reversed a decision to clear more than 2,000 acres of 4,864 acres of indigenous Menengai forest in Nakuru County to pave way for farming practices. The Kenya Forest Service Chief Conservator of Forests, Mr. Julius Kamau, admitted that the plantation establishment and livelihood improvement scheme systems at Menengai Forest had been misused and would be mainstreaming the participatory forest conservation concept.
It is extremely important that the county utilizes this very important resource that is Menengai Forest, which is just about 7 kilometers from town, with a population of about 700,000 people. We realize that we need both the recreational aspects of the forest. We also will require to have places where people can walk, people can relax. And also, given the gradient of Nakuru, where we have huge populations down the crater, if we are not able to contain the water upstream, the waters that come uncontrolled and unmitigated become a major hazard to the communities living downstream. And so we will map out all the stakeholders, the community there, Kenya Forest Services working with us as the lead team. We also have GDC, we also have the tourism operators, so that again we can turn Menengai into a major tourism circuit. so that anybody who wants to do hiking, then Menengai will be able to offer that. And in terms of infrastructures to make that one happen, we'll also work with the necessary government agencies, including security and infrastructure, to uplift that area.
Our focus was about the Menengai forest, which is actually in a very close vicinity and has a very big value to the, not only at the national level, but also actually the people of Nakuru. And therefore, our agenda was on how we can draw a common strategy to be able to actually improve the value and enhance the value of Menengai forest as an urban forest. That an urban forest would create and play 3 critical roles. One would be ecosystem services. That's issues of water conservation and issues of climate change resilience, and also hosting flora and fauna that is basically go to an ecosystem like this. But also again look at the issue of if you conserve it, and we are contemplating the issues of actually having a perimeter fence around it, then we are actually able to protect it and enhance its recreational potential, whereby we can actually have it restore its former glory, if not enhancing it, to allow Kenyans and people of Nakuru to have a place they can go for a walk, for a run, and actually enjoy. For us as a Kenya Forest Service, we continue to engage the county governments, not only in Nakuru, and we continue to do so because between us, national government and the county government, we have what we call transition implementation plan. And I'm able to say that already the Kenya Forest Service and Nakuru County has signed that plan. That plan allows us to engage in terms of Kenya Forest Service providing technical capacity towards the county government to enhance and ensure that they are also able to propel and manage forest resources properly, but also it allows a conversation and dialogue between the 2 levels of government on how we can sustainably manage our forest resources.
That brings us to the end of tonight's bulletin. Thank you so much for choosing Mwangaza TV. It was me, Esther WAITHERA, and Naomi Mathu. We both wish you a good night.
Unatazama Mwangaza TV, tumaini lako. Baada ya kukatiza huduma zetu kwa muda kutokana na